In the heart of the 15th century, Europe was in the grip of the Catholic Church. The Church's influence was absolute, permeating every aspect of life, from education to politics. It was a time of change, with the Renaissance in full swing, humanism on the rise, and a thirst for knowledge and discovery that was slowly beginning to challenge the Church's authority. Enter Martin Luther, born on November 10, 1483, in the small German town of Eisleben. His parents, Hans and Margaret Luther, were ambitious for their son, and Martin was initially groomed for a career in law. However, a close brush with death during a thunderstorm in 1505 prompted him to abandon this path and join the Augustinian monastery in Erfurt. Luther's years in the monastery were marked by intense spiritual struggle. He was ordained a priest in 1507, and soon became a respected theologian and professor at the University of Wittenberg. But beneath the surface, Luther was grappling with doubts about the Church's teachings, particularly the practice of selling indulgences, which he viewed as a gross distortion of the Christian faith. In October 1517, Luther decided to voice his concerns. He wrote a document known as the 95 Theses, a direct challenge to the Church's authority and its practices. This radical act ignited what we now know as the Protestant Reformation. Despite facing excommunication and the threat of death, Luther refused to recant his views. He was declared a heretic in 1521, but his ideas had already begun to spread. Luther continued to write and preach, developing the foundations of what would become the Lutheran Church. Luther's later years were marked by controversy, including his harsh writings against Jews, which have been widely criticized. He passed away on February 18, 1546, but his legacy lived on, transforming the religious and political landscape of Europe. In summary, Martin Luther was a pivotal figure in the Protestant Reformation. Born in 1483, he initially pursued a career in law before turning to the Church. His 95 Theses challenged the Catholic Church's authority and sparked a religious revolution. Despite facing excommunication and threats to his life, Luther stood by his beliefs, establishing the foundations of the Lutheran Church. His controversial later years and death in 1546 marked the end of an era, but his impact continues to be felt to this day. Such is the tale of Martin Luther, a man whose courage and convictions forever changed the course of history. In the face of immense opposition, he dared to question, to challenge, and ultimately, to change the world.